Welcome to another edition of the Brewery Boys Expedition Podcast. I'm Ricky J here with Max P. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Rick. How you doing? It's been a while since we got together.
Yeah.
We missed last week.
We did.
Maybe a couple too many of these, I think.
I think you were traveling. I think you were doing brewery
yeah, I think
work.
we went over to Idaho and did some stuff. But
yeah,
I'm having a hoppy seltzer, and it looks like you're joining me.
Yeah,
here.
I'm doing the same. So it's tough to beat that when you want to stay a little lighter.
Yeah, it's a good just standby. I know when we were out camping and we've been to the music festivals, it seems like we could have filled the entire cooler with this and been okay.
I know, and because a lot of people were wanting it too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm surprised it hasn't just been discovered as much because it's got that
crazy.
hoppy taste.
The other day I walked into the can storage building because, so we were repairing the LED sign that's out on Montana Avenue there.
Okay.
So I pulled it into there to make it a little bit easier on the guy. He flew in from Des Moines, Iowa to fix the sign. And I looked up and just seen these monstrous, stacks of this. And I thought, it's going to take several years of you and I putting a dent in that before we eat through those cans.
Hey, it's better than a 401k, baby.
Exactly. We got it planned out.
We are set.
The retirement is planned. So
we are set. Well, hey, what's coming up music-wise in the tap room?
Got some good stuff coming up this next week. Of course, we always have the trivia on Wednesday. Crazy how popular that still is to this day. I think last week when I walked through there, they had 28 or 30 teams going and really busy. But some more good stuff coming up as far as music is concerned. On Thursday night, a new band from Helena called Stereo Sky. Got some soul, pop, jazz, funk. I think it's just going to be an all-around kind of a good time. It's always fun to have new bands pop up. A lot of times, you and I will book some of these bands that are really kind of a morph of other bands,
right.
But then there's other times where it's like, well, here's 3 or 4 new people that I've never even knew played music and may or may not have come in the tap room in the past, but hey, we got a band, and you listen to their stuff, and hey, it sounds pretty good. So it's kind of fun to do that.
Well, it is fun, and part of it, one of our goals from the very beginning of doing music, even on a much smaller scale, was to give an outlet for musicians here in Helena and small musicians like that. And
Yep.
it's kind of, I know at one point we even reached out to some people giving instructions and said, hey, if your people want to play and, but just that ability to give that opportunity to folks that are kind of starting out, it's nice.
Yeah, and it gives them a chance to, get in front of their friends and family, because most of them invite their friends and family, especially to their first big show. And as far as Helena is concerned, we are kind of the big show place in town. We got the big stage and the big PA and the spotlights and all those things that can make people a little bit nervous at their very first time out. But
right.
We're excited to be able to do that. And again, it's one of those things that we're really incredibly proud of over the years, having, well over 1,500, 2,000 bands we've had in the place. And a lot of those are local. A majority of those are local bands, and many of them have played lots of different times there over and over.
Right, and even more Montana bands, even we've seen them start fairly small, and then it's cool to see them, catch on.
Yeah.
And suddenly
start
they're
moving around a little bit, and some bands pretty much stick around Helena, and then pretty soon you see them popping into Missoula or Bozeman or Great Falls, and then some of them get in the van and start cruising down the road.
Right.
So, I mean, whatever your dream is, we're happy to be a part of it, and just happy to have been providing live music for 20 years when you look back at under the brew house
right.
in the old tap room. But consistently, since we've moved over to the new location in 2011, so we're now 12 years into it, every Thursday and every Saturday,
right.
outside of maybe a couple and then COVID. I mean, that was pretty much it. And then over the last couple of years, we've thrown a lot of Fridays in there too. If we don't have bingo or some other thing going on Friday night, we'll book a band And that's one of the reasons that we shifted to 8 o'clock. So people can go in there after work, have their beers, have a pizza, whatever. And then, most of the after work crowd kind of tends to move on at 8. And so we kind of have those live music fans starting to come in at 8 o'clock, and we go 8 to 11 on Friday and Saturday.
Right. And it's always good. I know you're open to feedback. We'd love to hear from folks.
Absolutely.
Just message the...
We're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, did 7 work better? Does 8 work better?
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at...
We're certainly toying around with maybe going to 7 on Thursdays and maybe going a little smaller acts on Thursdays, just, primarily because of the financial constraints that come up.
Right.
We'd love to bring in a good band, but if we only have 15 to 20 people show up, we just can't financially sustain that. But if we can bring in some acoustic guys or maybe a duo or a trio and keep the cost down and provide that live music for those folks that are looking for something to do on a Thursday night, that would certainly be my goal, just because, as you and I have talked, we've had so much invested time-wise into that, to where, hey, every Thursday and every Saturday, you can go find some live music at the tap room.
Well, it's just that question, is if you're going to go, you're with the 2 or 3 guys, you just want to go have a beer or go play some machines or something like that, and is that $5 cover to support live music, is that going to keep you from going in a place?
Yeah.
I know, for work, was down in Salt Lake a lot. There was a time you had to join every place you went into.
Just to buy a beer,
Yeah, just to go in and buy a beer. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around that $5 is prohibitive. But if it is, from the business perspective, we'd like to know, obviously, and what people's people's opinion on that. But
maybe we should do. Maybe we should chat with Kelsey in our marketing department and have her maybe pop up just a quick little one of those surveys that we can pop up like on Facebook and Instagram that has just 3 or 4 questions and just kind of get the pulse of the local live music fan in town. We definitely are excited about bringing some bigger bands in this next year, and we've talked a little bit about that with the new arrangement we're working on, but that still leaves a lot of nights that we need to decide, do we want to invest in this or do we want to pull back
Well,
from
just
it?
that under the normal course of bands, like you said, those normal nights, if you are... I enjoyed the 7 o'clock start, 7 to 10. I know you could go a little later, 7 to 10:15. If it was really busy, maybe even 10:30. So it's still shorter than a normal bar gig.
Yeah, the 9 to 2 kind of thing, or 9 to 1.
Yeah, I don't know, as it gets, even when it gets darker sooner and colder, it was kind of fun to do that 7 o'clock start.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if that 7 o'clock start is people that just want to show up and have a beer or play some pinball or something like that, and they're like, I don't want to give $5 to a band.
And
is
the
that
other thing
keeping
is,
people out?
a lot of folks there's a lot of families coming in there to eat that pizza now. So it's become kind of a stop for dinner. And that's where it becomes a little bit of a challenge, is like, I'm coming in with my family to get a pizza, and I got to pay a cover for my kids. And we don't want that to be a challenging situation.
I know you've been kicking around maybe even the idea of certain parts of the brewery. Because it's a big place, let's face it.
Yeah,
so
maybe
even
like,
the Stone Room or one or the other, you go, hey, okay, this is, if you don't want to come in for the music, you could
it's
sit
not
there
like
and
you
have
can't
a beer.
hear the music, but you're not really there for the music.
Right. There's a couple TVs, maybe you wanted to watch something on a sporting event, or like you said, your family just want a pizza. There's plenty of room in there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an option too. I know.
I definitely think that Thursday night is the one that we're kind of in flux and trying to figure out what would be the best solution. So I think probably a survey would work, and then coming up with, there'll always be that outside a chance that we get a really big band that's coming through on a Thursday, so all bets are off on the norm. But outside of that, it would be kind of nice to have a consistent night, and I've heard both sides of the equation, so it's just a matter of trying to figure out what's going to work best. But
it is tough to figure it out, and you say, a big band coming in, you can look at it from the side. No, I got to pay to go. I can't go in. But that's an opportunity. And even if it's not an opportunity you want to take advantage of, it's nice to have that for the community.
Sure.
I don't go to every movie that's available, but I remember before
don't want the theater to close.
Before we got this theater, we had 2 that
weren't the best.
They
right?
weren't the best. I know one of them for sure wasn't even trying very hard because you'd have to get up and say, "Hey, could you dim the lights?"
I remember going to the one that the old base camp is in now downtown. And the movie actually stopped about halfway through, and it had burned through, or there was a problem with it. And we waited around 15, 20 minutes trying to get it going, and then people just started leaving. And they wouldn't even give you your money back or a credit. It was just like, well, you just kind of take your chance.
It happens. It's like rain at a concert,
So we're not going to be that way, but I do think finding that middle ground and creating some space that those that didn't plan on it, that just happened to show up. They might even be someone from out of town that showed up. Their kids are playing in a basketball tournament or something, and they want to come and get a pizza. And I don't want to not be able to provide space for them because, as you mentioned, we got a lot of it. So.
Yeah, you want to make it fun for everyone, and everyone, not everyone is there for the same thing.
Yep.
So beer wise, what any news?
Beer wise,
what's going on?
The Saison is almost gone. It's actually the beer of the month this month. So it's on. A lot of times, what we'll do is when we get to the tail end of a beer, we'll go ahead and drop the price to get it out because we've got other beers that are waiting to come online, just like stores have other products that are waiting to get on the shelf. And so right now that's on special. I believe it's $4 a glass, and the growlers are discounted as well. We did just have to stop growlers of pumpkin day before yesterday because it just we're getting close on the pumpkin, and we certainly want to try to make it to Thanksgiving if we can, but we probably won't make it to Thanksgiving, but we are going to save 2 kegs of it, even if we don't make it to Thanksgiving, just selling glasses of it.
Gotcha.
And that's what people really love. They love the cinnamon sugar rim on the glass.
I wanted to ask if it's still available in cans in the brewery.
No cans, but you can certainly get it by the glass.
Okay, so the cans are all
Yeah,
out.
we didn't do the pumpkin this year. We did the Oktoberfest.
Oh, I'm thinking Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
And there still is probably about 8 or 10 cases of the cans left of that.
Okay.
But it's pretty much gone. And then the pumpkin, we just had to stop the growlers because the growlers just empty the keg so fast.
And you're right that the pumpkin is one of those, with the cinnamon or sugar or whatever the heck it is on the
just kind of an experience.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of a fun change up.
Yeah,
a dessert almost makes it like a little bit of a dessert.
Yep. So we hope it'll last till then. If it doesn't, like I said, we're going to save a couple of kegs because we got a big party coming up. Always the night before Thanksgiving is a massive night in the tap room because you got a lot of kids coming home or adults as well, coming back to Helena for the holidays.
Right.
And Wednesday night, a lot of them get in. And so we usually have a good band. And this year we have 10 Years Gone, which is going to pack the place out.
Oh,
it's going to be
nice.
a great night. And so we're going to pull a couple of those kegs if we do run out and just put them on for that night. Or probably the night before, and that night we'll make a post on social media. So you'll get one more chance to get a taste at the pumpkin ale before it's totally out. And then, we got some other great beers coming down the pipeline. We got a really nice vanilla porter in the tank right now that's going to be coming out probably, I would imagine, in the next week or two. And we've got on the brewing schedule, we've got a really big stout, like a 10.5, 11% imperial stout that we're going to be brewing. So as this time of the year, things are getting colder and people sitting by a fire and sipping one of those big beers is kind of nice. And I've been getting a lot of questions about the Big Belt. And yes, we do plan on brewing that this year as well. The Big Belt Weizenbach, we haven't brewed in, I think, 3 years. And we still have some cans that we can use for that. So our goal is probably in that January timeframe, we'll crank out a batch of the Big Belt as well. I know there's some fans of that beer. So
now I'm not familiar with a vanilla porter. I've not had that. Can you?
It would be a brand new one for us that we're doing for the very first time. And we're doing it actually in conjunction with Buffalo Wild Wings. We're doing a special promo for them. To have that on tap, and they're kind of featuring us. I think it's in the month of December, so that was one of the catalysts.
That's great. Now,
that one. So
when I hear vanilla porter, it makes me think I'm going to taste some vanilla in there. Is that
Yep.
Is that part of it? Or?
Yeah, we'll certainly do it. Kind of like the pumpkin has a bunch of different spices
Okay.
and molasses and vanilla and cinnamon. And so it's just a matter of, dialing that in and figuring out what the right ratio of vanilla to add without getting overpowering.
So are you taking volunteer testers as people listen to that? Like if they listen to that?
Yeah,
or
I think.
Could you take a select number of people?
It's actually already in the tank, so we're done with that part.
Done with the testing phase.
But we did have an opportunity to do that, and fortunately, we've got a really good brewing staff. I mean, we've got probably in the neighborhood of 50 years of brewing experience. Between Tobin and Mike and Jace, and coming from different backgrounds and different experiences. And so they all get together, sit down and talk about, hey, what are we trying to do here? Oh, I've done this before. Let's try this. And so I'm pretty confident it's going to be a killer beer.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
And should be really nice, especially that time of the year. But looking a little bit forward into the live music part of things, one of the things I'm super stoked about is coming up on November 17th, we have Hair Train Awesome, which is
they're fun.
Great 80s tribute band or cover band, and we're going to do a costume contest that night. There was a lot of people that dressed up last time, and we didn't really have it planned that way. But now we thought, hey, if people are going to do that, they're willing to get something on. We're going to give away some prizes.
Right.
So we'll be giving away kind of like for the Halloween party. We had, by the way, Halloween party was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. We got a photo of
that was one of the biggest
me pull that
ones.
up?
Yeah, let's pull up the photo and show the video of Goldievox. Boy, they just blew the roof off the joint, and place was totally packed. But here's during the contest, and we have the grand prize winner was Weird Al Yankovic. I think her name was Emily. And then we have Uncle Fester over here on the left side. And
I liked that he had a light bulb that he would put in.
That was perfect. Yeah. And then I believe, I think it was Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf.
Oh, just behind is a couple.
Yeah,
they were good
won as well. Very good. And we also honorable mention to Lewis and Clark, the Corpse of Discovery, which was really kind of cool.
They were good. Yeah.
But yeah, let's throw up a shot or a video of Goldievox just blowing the roof off the joint here. They just put on a great show, and we had a great crowd. It was a fun night for sure.
All right.
So cool to see the tap room that full again, and people just having a really good time.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of people dressed up. That was really cool. I would say probably 80% of the crowd that came in was in costume, and always a challenge when Halloween is not on a Friday or a Saturday. The actual Halloween, I think, was Tuesday this year, something. So
it was a Tuesday.
You're just wondering, when are people going to come out? Are they going to come out on the Friday or the Saturday, or when are they going to wait and come out on the Tuesday? And so it was really cool to see that kind of reaction, to have that folks come out.
Yeah, it was fun to see. Like you said, a great crowd. I think we're going to see that later in November with 10 Years Gone, with Hair Train Awesome, and those. So I think those are going to be some fun nights.
Yeah, I think that, we always end up having just great crowds over the holidays as people come back to Helena, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas and New Year's. And so really looking forward to that, having some great live music, some great beers. Now we got the mulled wine back available. I can't believe how many people love that. That's just that heated up wine in a nice coffee mug kind of thing when it's cold and you're shivering. It sure makes for a nice wintertime drink. And I think we got a lot of fun stuff. The golf is still going crazy, and the golf simulator is being booked like crazy right now. Of course, the weather's turned, and so we actually had a guy come in last week. So it's not available Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, as you know, because we do the league, and that's sold out. But when we do the league again in January, we're going to add quite a few teams, and so we'll probably do 5 days a week for league. But it's available to the public on Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so we had a guy book last week for 4 hours, which is significant investment. I mean, it's $40 an hour for the golf sim. So, but immediately when he finished, he'd never played on it before. Immediately when he finished, he booked, it was on Wednesday, he booked another 4 hours on Friday. So when that happens, you realize, and this guy has played quite a bit of golf and played on the sims before, but had never played on a sim like that, and was just blown away. So that's really kind of a cool experience to see.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And we are looking at another pinball tournament. We should have that for next week. I'll have the date. It's probably going to be in that first to second week of December on a Sunday. And we'll get another one in before the end of the year. And then probably the one starting in January will be sanctioned tournaments after that. But we learned a lot of good stuff and had a great turnout. So we're going to be a little more prepared and ready for the onslaught of people that love to play pinball in a tournament environment.
Probably got to work with ESPN Ocho for the time and to get it going with the air time.
Talk about selling the rights and, all that stuff,
Well, Max, anything else for this one? I know we're a little shorter, but...
I don't think so. I think, I think we've covered pretty much everything, and we'll get some more. We'll have a lot more details about what's coming up for the holidays and even probably beyond here when we get together next week. But look forward to seeing folks down at the tap room having a good time.
All right. Well, for Max P, I'm Ricky J. Cheers.
Cheers.